overall, a good episode. I like the space combat episodes, especially when they manage to keep it that tense the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, they're trying to use Uhura for tension. It's just, I can't. Like, just stop. Don't even do it. We know she survives, so you're not putting her in danger because we already know she makes it through.
Yep, my little brother had his picture taken with the actress like 8 years ago, so I know Uhura's fine for a very long time after this. So for what it was a good episode because, like I've said before, one of my favorite episodes of the original series is Balance of Terror, which is a ship-to-ship combat. But back in the old days, your good guys had to win, right? The Enterprise barely limped out of this one.
Yeah, they didn't win.
Yeah. They just barely scraped through, And the only reason it's anything close to a win is because the last Gorn ship just gave up.
Well, they didn't give up. They just, they had some evidence that the Enterprise was dead.
Yeah. So, do you think they're making the Gorn scary? Because I certainly do.
No, I'm here for it. Yeah, I wanted to see him, but something that I complain about in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you see the monster too early. You see Leatherface way too early in both the original and the remake. I prefer it to be more like Jaws, where you don't really see the full brunt of the monster until like near the end. So I hope that's kind of something they're doing with this.
Yeah. So I got a couple nits I got to pick here. Do you have any?
Yeah, mine was the Uhura issue, and then the whole conversation about photon torpedoes and the bays and the tubes and all that. But we already kind of talked about those, so.
Yeah. Back in the episode of the original Star Trek called The Dagger of the Mind, Spock says he has never used a mind meld on a human being prior to that.
Is La'an a human?
Well, I was going to say, now, can you make the argument that because she has augment ancestry, she's not human? I could also make the argument that it was an early episode of the original series, and they didn't know it was going to need to run for another 115 years. I guess either one's fine, but it's one of those things that sets off my nerd alert,
No, I understand what you mean, but I think, given that I'm a huge fan of Friday the 13th and trying to justify any little change in the story or whatever, just to make everything fit, I'm okay with saying that she may not be considered a regular human because of her. Well, actually, I'm not sure that that's even the case, because in the last episode, she said that she got picked on for being an augment, but she wasn't one.
Yeah, but if Khan is a direct, which we still don't know, but if Khan were a direct ancestor, then she's going to have augmented genetics, which, whether or not she's Captain America, the background is still there.
Yeah, I don't know. See, that's another issue with bringing La'an in here and tying her back to Khan. Why? You're convoluting a canon that doesn't need to be convoluted.
All this room that you can run around and play in, and you went back to Khan again.
Yeah, on the Enterprise, man. If La'an was just out in the world, fine, and they run across her, cool. But this is one of the problems with the fact that they made her a part of the crew. I still don't understand that choice, because so far, it has meant nothing.
Yep.
Except for an argument she had with Una in the last episode. And even that, you could have made her like literally anybody else, and she still could have had that same argument with Una.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially since she was delirious with light fever.
Well, and they could have just spun it a different way.
No, what I'm saying is whoever was there would have been all venomous and hateful anyways,
Well, like La'an says later, though, after everybody calms down, she says basically, I was a little bit more emotional than I normally am, but I'm not sorry for what I said. I guess my point of that is it wasn't only because she was having those issues with the light that made her say that.
No, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down there.
So they could have just picked anybody to make it fit that argument if they still needed that for the story. Now, it could be there's some crazy big reason why a Noonien Singh is on the ship, but at this point, it still seems like Why? Why would you do that? Because you're writing yourself into a corner for literally no reason.
Yeah, and see, that's why at first I was sure it was going to turn out that they weren't on a colony ship, they were on a sleeper ship and then rescued by the Federation or something, you know? Which obviously they can't do now. They've pulled themselves out of that, but I thought it'd be cool to have her suddenly turn out to be like an actual crew member of and, you know, family member of Khan. Just, you know, escaped on a different ship or something. But, you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see how they pull all that together, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some crazy payoff to having her as a Noonien Singh. Otherwise, what's the point?
No, that's absolutely true. But again, you know, we're back to that thing where ever since Khan was introduced, they've been chasing a sugar high built around him ever since, you know?
Let's do some math, though. Okay?
Yes.
Because we know about when Khan was on the ship, and we know about when La'an was born. So she was born 2228, and Khan was in power from, I think, 96 to 98, or 94 to 98, or something like that. So he got put on the Botany Bay. We can't necessarily say that when Kirk found him and he died, or we can't really say that his natural life extended to when Kirk and him had the final showdown in Wrath of Khan. So if he'd never gotten found, they're like a couple hundred years removed from each other. So maybe her last name doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, it could very well be. It'd just like being stuck with like Mussolini or something 300 years after Benito Mussolini.
Yeah, so I just did her birth date minus like 1996. And it's almost 250 years, 230 something. So, because like I said, you can't really take the end of Khan's natural life into, you know, Wrath of Khan times, even though that's when it actually happened. But like, barring that, he would have lived and died a couple hundred years before La'an was even born.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, for all intents and purposes, even if we move it, you know, because they're playing fast and loose with the dates now, but
even if he was a little long-lived, I mean, that would still put, I don't know, 100, 150, almost 200 years. So you're still looking at a long time in between the two of them. So maybe her name doesn't matter at all, but if it doesn't matter at all, what's the point in having her? So I still come back to that.
No, you know, it doesn't happen in a vacuum, but yeah, it could also, you know, yeah. Well, I'm just going to agree with you, because if I try to reason it out too much, I'm going to talk in a circle for an hour. But overall, like the episode, I am still enjoying the show quite a bit. For me, it's still the best Trek I've seen since Next Generation went off the air. So, Chris, where are we headed next week?
All right. Nurse Chapel is trying to hitch a ride off-world in a freezing slum. Her spiritual mentor is mutilated by a devious alien hybrid. With the help of a genetically enhanced La'an, she must transform into a mutant in order to avert disaster and save her dimension.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see this one. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Oh, boy.